Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, it's Cynicalex. And today, in light of the fact that we know there is an upcoming patch, but we don't know exactly when it is, and we are getting new characters, I wanted to give you guys some advice and some of my opinions on best practices that you can put into play so that you are better prepared now for future patches, specifically, and most importantly, the upcoming X-Men patch. So this VIP pack, which we normally just skip through on the main page, is actually quite pertinent. Right off the bat, I'll say that it's a pretty decent deal if you are going to spend money in the game. The 4,400 crystals can go towards, quite a few uniforms. They can go towards another mega rank up ticket with some spare change, and then you also get that mega rank up with the mastery and 1,000,000 gold. However, we're going to go into a lot more depth than just that, because that's just the beginning. So first off, I do want to say that this video is partially inspired by a lot of questions that I'm seeing on the live streams, especially on Twitch, where people ask, hey, Cynicalex, should I tier 2 this character or that character? Is it a good time for me to invest in Odin? Should I rank up Dormammu? Should I tier 2 this character? Should I buy their uniform? And the answer right now, considering that we know on the horizon, within the next, I would say 3 weeks, maybe even 2 weeks, there is going to be a major patch. We are going to be getting quite a few new characters, new investment opportunities. Now is not a good time to invest in current characters. However, there is a situation in which you should. If you are a new player, or if you are a developing player who doesn't have a roster like mine, or a totally outfitted roster, if you need to do one of the following things, if you still need to get 5 out of 5 on the regular world bosses, if you're still struggling to get 5 kills every single day except for Infinity Thanos, but we could include him here, or if you are struggling to get to level 5, 10, or 15 of Shadowlands, the reason why those levels are particularly important is because at those stages you do get bio selectors at 60, 75 on 10, and then 90 on 15. So it's extremely important that you gear up your account to be able to hit those milestones, because it will help you generate value in the long run much more quickly, and you can accrue resources that will then exponentially grow your account and get the number of characters you have built up much faster. The last reason I would say yes to building up characters right now that are in the game is if you have a particularly competitive alliance and they need you to rank up or tier 2 or native tier 2 certain key characters: Odin, Agent Venom, Kid Kaiju, Doctor Strange, Dormammu, etc. If you do not fall into one of those 3 categories, the third one being kind of iffy, then you should not, in my opinion, be developing any new characters. I myself went on a pretty epic tier 2 binge. I tier 2 about 5 or 6 characters, and I have halted my progress. In the stead, I've actually bought more items, and I've kind of been hoarding resources for the impending update. And I think this is the best strategy for you guys. So if you don't fall into one of those categories, what you should do is you should wait. You shouldn't be building up Odin or Dormammu, because you might need the Black Antimatter and Chaos Nordstones to either tier 2 some of the X-Men or to build them up, because they may be native tier 2s. Now, of course, there's always the possibility that the X-Men will require a new type of currency, a new type of ticket, a new type of farmable resource. But barring that situation, the best practice right now is to just wait. Make sure you're running all of your world bosses, your villain sieges, save up your chaos and honor store tokens for the most part. You never know when they could change up this store and suddenly make these tokens very appealing and valuable. So you don't want to lose them and spend them all now unless you absolutely need one of these key characters like Warwolf, Captain Marvel, or Elsa Bloodstone. But there's even more that you guys can do if you really want to be prepared. Now, this goes more for people who spend money in the game. So for the free-to-play players, this doesn't really apply to you. But for the whales of varying sizes and properties, you may want to consider pre-investing in some of these packs, because as you can see, they're limited in their duration, and they're also limited in the number that you can buy. So I can buy one more of this mega tier 2 ticket because I've already purchased one. Now, this is a bit excessive, some would say, or this is more on the super whale category, but you can bank up some of these items and then have more than 2, which is the traditional limit if you were to buy them when the X-Men patch drops, whether it's next week or 2 weeks from now. So I could bank some of these up and get maybe 4 ready for instantly tier 2ing some of these characters. Yes, the cost is high, but if you want to make the most of the update and if you want to be as prepared for it as possible and you want to spend money, these are some of the steps you can take. The anniversary pack is another option, but it is risky because if you do not need black antimatter for the X-Men, it kind of goes to waste. But the crystals are nice, probably good to have a reserve of them for things like new uniforms. I don't think the X-Men are going to come without some alternate uniforms. But for the free-to-play players and for everyone in general, there are still some steps that you can take. For starters, the next wave of Shadowlands, when it resets in 4 days and 12 hours, wait. Unless you're trying to beat Fozon like a fool, you should try to clear Shadowlands if your schedule permits on the last possible day. What that will do is that will give you the most possible time before your Shadowland bioselectors expire. Because as soon as you collect them, as soon as you win them from Shadowlands, the 7-day expiry begins and it starts to deteriorate. So if you wait until the last day of Shadowlands, then you give yourself an extra, 4 or 5 days window on those bioselectors, which could potentially go towards the X-Men. So that is the first thing that you can do to prepare yourself for this update. Another thing you can do if you do intend on spending a little bit of money in this game, if you are the type of person who wants to invest, don't buy a biosub right now. I recently had my biosub run out and I haven't bought one to renew it because I'm waiting to see if we need them for some of the X-Men, and I want to have the full 30 days to select different characters rather than only having 10 or 20 or 15 days. Now, of course, if you're the type of person that gets biosubs every single month, it's not really important, but if you're someone who is thinking for the first time of investing, of course, aside from the Stark Stash, which is probably the best deal in the game, you should wait to use this so that you can get the full value out of it for the X-Men, unless there are characters that we've talked about before that you prefer from this list. But who would prefer Kid Kaiju over Wolverine? I mean, come on. The kid's got good hair, but that's about it. The last thing that I would suggest you guys to do if you're the type of account that can actually compete in World Boss Ultimate is to try and complete as high of a phase as you can. I think for most people that goes to phase 2 or phase 3 at least once, so you can collect these first clear rewards. And in most cases, the first clear rewards include things like rank up tickets. So as you can see, I do have some extras here, both from the gift boxes that Netmarble has given us randomly, but also from some of these World Boss Ultimate clears. So you can accrue some extra resources here and save them and hold them over for the X-Men update. The last one, guys, is probably the hardest. Try not to spend gold. Whether the X-Men are going to be paywall, whether they're going to be native tier 2, whether they're going to be regular characters, or whether they're going to require some new currency or resource, I promise you, they will absolutely require gold. Lots and lots of gold. This is by far the most stringent and the most scarce resource we have, and the one that we spend the most, brazenly on. So try to save your gold. Okay, I'll be doing the same thing so we can do it together. We can watch each other's backs so we don't go crazy and splurge. I won't try to roll overdrive anymore, boys. And I hope that these tips have helped you guys to plan for future updates, the X-Men one most notably. I still will get a lot of questions from you guys about which character should I tier 2, but I hope that the tips about who to tier 2 and why you should be tier 2ing characters right now, and why in most cases you should not tier 2 anyone for the next week or two, if you can be patient about it, should help you guys answer those questions by yourself. But still, feel free to jump on the Twitch and ask me questions. I'm always glad to answer them, unless it's something about an ISO set for Doctor Strange or Sharon Rogers. So let me know what you guys think of the video. Let me know what you think of my tips for future proofing and future planning. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.